Hello, everybody out there. I am currently working through some technical difficulties with Russ as well. We are having some problems here, but we will get that fixed up. We are looking forward to an excellent show tonight. Trying to get everything fired. There we go. Getting everything fired up and ready to roll for everybody out there. So, welcome to Compass of Curiosities. I am your host, Ian Murphy, the moderator, handling the situation for the evening. As you can tell, Russ is having some issues of his own, so we are going to give him a little bit of grace on that, and we're going to go from there. So thank you, Damian. Welcome, Courtney. Welcome, Stacy. Always a pleasure to have you here. Always first on the lineup. You are, without fail, the most diligent of our viewers here. So, guys, tonight we are going to be talking about conspiracy theories. I am actually not at my best. Jeff, thank you for joining in. And so Russ has actually done a little bit of a roundup of some of the wildest conspiracy theories of 2024. And now that we're into 2025, some more are surfacing. It's going to be a wonderful little adventure for us to go through and figure out just what our takes are and what the general feelings in the populace are. So please feel free to comment the different conspiracy theories that have tickled your fancy this year, and we will take it from there. I am actively pinging Russ to tell him to hurry the hell up with his problems. Icy, welcome, welcome, welcome. Russ is back, and it is his show, so maybe I'll let him introduce you once again to Compass of Curiosities, his Monday night show. So, welcome aboard. You're muted.
Thank you for that. Technical difficulties everywhere. I was trying to get my computer set up for screen share, and it's not letting me do it for some reason.
Oh, no bueno.
Yeah,
all right. So I told them what the show's about tonight, what we are. I haven't listed any of your sponsors, any of your friends, family, or affiliates.
Not
just
a problem
jumped
at all.
right into topics.
Hey, why not? We will get to that here in un momento. Let me see here. I don't know where I am. What day is it? Here we go. Sponsors. So, of course, as always, we have Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. Always a good sponsor, always a good group of people, and always doing some great, fantastic things up here in the Massachusetts area. I don't know if many of you saw the new video that came out with Cody and Satori. But that was done at our very own Harstuff Hall here in Rockland, Massachusetts. And I watched the episode, and it was awesome to see them actually validating some of the stuff that we've captured prior, as well as seeing some of the new experiences that they've had. So definitely, if you have not checked that out yet, definitely go check it out over on YouTube. Look up Cody and Satori, and it should be one of their most recent videos they've posted. So definitely check that one out. On to the next tier, as Jason would say, Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. I know she was just on with Sarah and Rob on Paranormally Blonde tonight, talking about women of the paranormal and women of, business. I guess business ownership, I guess you could say. Kim is like a fantastic photographer. If you haven't checked out any of her work, definitely head over to Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography and check out some of their work over there. Again, Get Moderated. Oh, what the? See? Get Moderated, another show that is on Get Haunted Network on Tuesday evenings, I believe at 9 p.m. I believe that's it. It's either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's 9 p.m. But yeah, definitely head over there, check that one out. Ian does an amazing job on his show over there. 9 times out of 10, it's just him pretty much rambling and making some points. And that's probably what we're going to do tonight. So definitely check that one out. Next up, Larry Eisler the Third, Small Town Productions. Awesome guy. I had a chance to finally actually meet him in person in Gettysburg this past year. He's done a lot of the intro work for, or he's doing the intro work for my new videos that'll be making an appearance here once I can nail down a time with him and everything. But he does a plethora of things over there at Small Town Productions, between filming, editing, video work, everything like that. So definitely check him out, look him up. Definitely a great asset. And if you're looking for some new videos or some new promo material or anything like that, definitely give Larry a check out. So Jeff's Traveling Boards of Wonders, one of the largest mobile Ouija board museums I've actually seen in my life. And I've been around for 40 years now, but I mean, it's definitely this rivals others, and the fact that he actually moves it around definitely is awesome. He has some very good stuff in there, so definitely check that out. Check him out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything like that. The Maine Paranormal and Horror Con, September 6th and 7th at the Augusta Civic Center in Maine. Tickets are on sale now. I need to update this banner, but definitely not a bad price for tickets, especially for the weekend VIP package. It gets you everything in. Gonna be an amazing show. He just announced Tony Moran, who is the OG Michael Myers. So definitely head on over there and check that out if you're in the area. Hell, even if you're not in the area, come on out to the event. It's definitely going to be a good time. We have a great lineup of guests coming on, some great lectures, and a fun weekend all around. So if you would like to become a sponsor, please reach out to me personally through a DM on either my Instagram or my Facebook, and I will get back with you to the start of what a sponsorship entails and what you get from it. So with that being said, we are on to our show tonight. So I did a very
whoa.
what?
We've got a few other things to mention.
Okay, what do we got going on here?
Although they are not officially a sponsor, they do host us. And
Get
I don't know
Haunted.
if anyone checked out gethaunted.com as of late. However, if you checked it December 20th and you looked at their events, they had like 2 events. And it was like nothing. Now you go on there today. We got Red Men's Hall in New Jersey, New Egypt, Broadwell Funeral Home in Ohio. You have Old Franklin County Jail out in Pennsylvania. You have Marclay Mansion, which is always on the roster, Mid-Orange Correction Facility, Missouri State Penitentiary, the trifecta of Fort Duffel, the Ditto House, Rock Island Roadhouse, Sleeper Mortuary, and New Egypt. And these are events that they are hosting all the way through August. Definitely take a minute, check it out. It's worth popping in. Absolutely phenomenal events for either newcomers or existing investigators. It's always a good time. So with that, we can push right in.
Yes, sir. And a little birdie told me, and has already been announced, that Get Haunted will be making a very big presence at the Maine Paranormal and Horror Con up in Augusta, Maine, as I mentioned in the sponsorships. Okay, blow a raspberry at that. But no, Rob and Sarah of Get Haunted will be there. I'm pretty sure we'll have Danny there.
Well, I mean, at least Sarah and Danny will be there for, people that we want to hang out with.
I mean, I don't know if Rob's listening or not, but I mean, he probably is back in the shadow somewhere. Thanks for listening, Courtney.
Why can't you say have a great show, Courtney? Are you going to be there? Are you going to be up in Maine?
I don't know. She may come. We may be able to talk her into it. As we're waiting on a response. Hi, Brandy. Thanks for coming out. Damien, I heard you shout out his name. Yeah, and Stacy is always first in line first in the show. Jeff, Icy, guys, welcome. Thank you so much. All right. So are we just going to do no video tonight for you? Or just going to do audio?
What are you talking about?
Your screen is black, sir.
On my side, it's not. You guys, all right, can nobody see me?
You are black.
Yes, can you not see me in my glory?
No, sir.
Really? Comment section. Come on, tell me if you can see me.
I got nothing on my side.
No, nothing? Yeah, all right, thank you, Kristen.
Huh.
We wouldn't have this many viewers if I wasn't visible.
Conspiracy, maybe?
It could just be you, dude.
It could be. Let me leave the studio and come back in.
Yeah, go away. We're having a good time without you. Hi, everybody. I've bullied Russ off of his own show. I hope everyone's having a good evening so far. No, but so in all honesty, this year has been an absolute wild up and down run of just different conspiracies that have been lingering, whether we're going to talk about drones, we're going to talk about Russ, can you hear and see me now?
Yes, sir, I can.
You got to switch sides. It's your show. You got to be on the left.
My bad.
Yeah, it's your show, man.
Now, I did a little bit of research into some of these. You know, I'm probably on like 4 lists now after doing some research and everything. You know, I'm not saying I comprehend and understand everything that goes into these theories and everything. So I may be sitting over here kind of, you know, but as I said, anybody listening, you know, these are just opinions. These aren't factual things. That's why they're called conspiracy theories. Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're going for over there, Ian. I see that.
I feel like I have like a little bit of a bald spot starting here.
It's kind of looking a little thinning, sir. Uh-oh.
Oh, well.
Time to get that Propecia.
You kidding me? I'll go bald. I'll take it. Speaking of conspiracies, China's trying to make me go bald.
China's trying to make you go bald.
That's what it is. It's China. Oh no, you know what it is? I got a bit of a cowlick going.
Yeah. It's all that working from home. You got too comfortable. That's one way to fix it.
Problem solved. Why do you wear the scally cap?
Why do you think I do it? My hair is a freaking mess.
I'm going to tell you, Russ, when you go bald, it's going to be rough because you got that full beard. You're going to have the full bozo thing going on, which most people don't understand the reference. But
no, and I'm too small to I'm too small to be Mr. Clean over here or anything. So
there you go. All right.
No,
so
but like I was saying, guys, these are all conspiracy theories. It's nothing, you know, factual, I guess you could say, set in stone. These are all just our opinions and our thoughts on certain situations and things that people see from the outside that kind of raise red flags here and there. Should have had Warner on. He's all about some red flags.
Well, you still have him if he's out there.
He's working tonight. He's catching bodies tonight somewhere.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, what's the first one you want to tackle right off the get? Do you want to tackle the most notorious one that has been of late?
Yeah, let's just fire off.
Where did they come from? Where did they go? Oh, Jersey drones. Where have you gone?
The drones. So this is actually something that I find incredibly interesting, right? Because we've spent the past 3.5 years, right, having document after document and Senate hearing after Senate hearing confirming
the existence of extraterrestrial.
The existence of extraterrestrial life, right? Like, and it's always been coming out at like the perfect moment, right? So the first big bombshell was back a few years ago now, actually.
Oh, our economy's crashing. This is going terribly. Oh, what's that in the sky?
No. So it actually, even before the economy started to tank, right as COVID started making a major presence, and it started. We started hearing the murmurs of this like super virus that was coming to kill us all. That was the first congressional hearing about the releasing of these CIA documents that actually corroborated former military that had been relocated to lunacy previously. That was the first major domino in the government release about extraterrestrials. That occurred, I think it was 9 days before the lockdown. And so, I mean, it was super convenient. We have another situation right now. We have the elections going on. We have the issues with Russia and Ukraine. We have China, North Korea, and everything like that all kind of settling up. And that's when they release another massive swath of documents concerning extraterrestrials. And what's wild is the newest set of documents don't even suggest extraterrestrial. They suggest terrestrial UFOs, and how the U.S. military and other military organizations have been witnessing and documenting a significant portion of these unidentified objects rising from the ocean initially and then taking into low orbit flight. So it's just, that to me is super interesting, right? Like, so if you were to categorize these drones as UFOs, I feel like they should be at this point pretty commonplace, right?
Yes. For
millennia, we've been drawing pictures of things in the sky, lights we didn't understand, beings that we didn't understand. Incan and Mayan engravings can very easily be interpreted
as depicting extraterrestrial life.
As depicting non-terrestrial vehicles.
True.
Right. And so even if you go as far back, some of the oldest ones are coming out of India, where you have entire faiths and religions that revolve around this concept that some of the beings and some of the entities that habitated the earth for a time had these screaming fire chariots that just whipped across the sky, and others that just silently hovered. And so I don't know. Were the drones extraterrestrial, or were they a psyop to just distract us from everything else that's going on?
Now that is the question, because, I remember back when they first, it was the whole big Senate hearing that we had where they're like, oh my God, and of course, one of my favorite artists is Tom DeLonge, who is a big UFOologist and has met with several government leaders and have met with people that are ex-military that have confirmed that there is existence and that the government just hasn't owned up to it. Now, like you said, back before COVID really took over, the Senate floor released these set of documents confirming UFOs, confirming, that there is something, I'm going all X-Files here, but there is something out there.
Well, and I think one of the things that
gets and nobody batted a fucking eye about it.
Well, because, all right, so if that's the direction we're going to go with this, it's because nobody gives a shit. We're currently living in a dystopian oligarchy, and we have way more important things to worry about than alien overlords coming down and fixing all of our problems. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, that's
you're not wrong.
that's the truth, right? Like, if extraterrestrial life exists, no matter what happens, we have a solution to our problem, right? If they're here to enslave us and cause us to, work our planet to depletion, well, congratulations. You and I don't have to go to our 9-to-5 anymore, and we don't have to pretend that 401k that our company offers is actually for anything but a tax write-off. And now we get to just be the mindless drones that post-industrial education systems have driven us to be for the past 150 years. God, I hope Stacy's still watching. But the truth is, the worst case scenario is that the people we've elected are the ones that get to communicate with non-terrestrial life. And I mean, that's kind of a running gag in most sci-fi films for the past, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
One of my favorite representations of what it would look like if we actually came across, alien life, is Mars Attacks.
I was going to go right there too, but I wasn't sure if you're going to lead with ID4 or if you were going to go with Mars Attacks.
No, it's Mars Attacks. The baffling ineptitude in which the governmental leaders approach the entire situation is just entirely too on point. And as we scream towards a dystopian future that is just a direct parallel or callback to, I don't know what you want to call it, to Idiocracy, I feel like that's where we're at. Nobody gives a shit because there's no world in which alien or non-terrestrial life is a bad thing for the common human.
Oh, could it be? It could be advancements in technology. It could be, advancements in food. It could be advancements in anything.
Or it could just be an honest, forthright, and just genuine approach to the fiefdom that we currently live in. Like there's all right. We need to move on because I'm about to go all start a revolution, young folk.
Oh God,
we're about to get on a list.
All right. So what is
establishment is showing?
Yeah, can we not do that? So what is your opinion on the drone situation? Like, because as soon as they were here and now they're gone.
Well, I think the big question is what major topic and government situation is no longer a problem.
The election.
It had been then, right? So I don't even think it's the election. One of the things that I think that unfortunately a lot of people don't know is so you have, all right.
Avoid trigger words and us on lists and
all right. So
the NSA just messaged me and said careful.
Yeah. All right. So there's two major committees in the House of Congress in the U.S.
Yes.
Everyone's heard of the Ways and Means, right? Like most people know that one. Most people don't know the Appropriations Committee. Now, the Appropriations Committee is the one that determines, taxation billing, how we're actually going to apply budget to the Ways and Means, and things like that. So arguably one of the most important committees in Congress.
Yes.
Russ, did you know that the chairman of that committee has been missing since April?
Hold on, let me check my paper. I don't think I read anything about that.
Yeah, so you didn't know that the chairman of the most powerful congressional committee has been missing since April.
No, I was not aware of that.
Okay, I have some good news. She's been found.
Okay.
And she's safe.
Was she hiding?
In her dementia ward of an elderly community.
And these are elected positions?
Elected and paid. She is a congresswoman who announced at the beginning of this year, beginning of 2024, that she would not be running for re-election due to medical issues, which, good on her for identifying. However, we have, as a nation, and Texas specifically as her constituents, have paid her about $90,000 in salary since she was admitted to this particular assisted living facility.
Yeah.
She has not voted. She has not appeared in government. She has not done any of her duties since April. She has been missing.
So they've just been sending her a paycheck and going, "Hope you're well," and that's it.
Well, I don't think they even sent her the note. Her congressional staff has been working diligently to perform her duties, but that's just a bunch of like interns and post grad students that have been covering and filling in for her.
Now that leads me to a question of: do you think it was intentionally done this way? Kind of the most powerful, out of sight, out of mind, and we can do what we need to do.
Well, Russ, I'll put it this way. If you start suffering from dementia tomorrow and you stop showing up at work, are you expecting a paycheck?
No.
Okay. They did. She did. She got the paycheck. And her kids have no comment. Oh, fun fact, she's 87 years old.
So, but no, we shouldn't put terms on anybody in Congress.
No, anyway. All right.
We're not getting into politics here.
My anti-establishment showing. Just remember. Anyway.
All right. We'll move on from the drone situation. That whole thing. You've seen them all over the United States. You've seen the videos from Jersey to Massachusetts to New York.
Oh, just real quick. I got to give you one quote.
Okay.
Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in any given nation. It's just a promise of violence that it's enacted, and the police are basically an occupying army. You know what I mean?
You just got me canceled. No, I'm kidding. All
right.
I'm kidding.
We went from aliens to we went from
downfall
to toppling the U.S. government.
Yeah, let's not do that, especially with it being so close to January 6th. Let's not do that.
Well, I mean, we're already there, right? Nobody even knew January 6th was a thing until 4 years ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, you've seen the videos everywhere from, California to Nevada, all over. I'm pretty sure every state reported it.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's if you look at, we know some UFO folks.
Can you imagine being on some ranch out in the middle of bumfuck Nebraska?
I'd try to take one down.
You'd look up and see this, and you'd be like, oh, hell.
I'd try to take one down. I mean, honestly, I'd fire a shot at it. There's no way I wouldn't. However, fun fact, the FAA made sure that they publicly announced repetitively during this entire time that the penalty for firing at an unmanned, unoccupied, remote-controlled drone is the same as firing at an occupied commercial aircraft.
Now, do you think that was being done for safety reasons, or was that being done for...
No. So if my asshole neighbor is running his drone over my house, it's the same penalty as I take a shot at 747.
All it takes is Bubba down in Alabama getting drunk one night and shooting at an actual Cessna that's in the sky.
Stacy is listening. He's just not commenting.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like think Bubba down in Alabama just gets a little too sauced one night and decides to start taking pop shots in the air and accidentally hits a private Cessna or something.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the warning's there for that, but hey Stacy Lee, thanks for coming in. I don't know. We do know a lot of UFO people, and I've kind of kept my the trauma of this situation to myself. Placate on words there a little bit.
What do you mean the trauma of what?
Oh, I mean, just past traumas and everything. I just, I haven't really physically addressed the drone situation and everything like that. So,
Well,
because
what trauma do you have around the drones? I got to know this.
I'm just saying.
Show me on the doll where the drone hurt you.
God, what the hell? It was. No, I
Anyway.
literally just spaced there for a second. But no, I was never personally traumatized by the drones or anything like that. It's just, I just, I don't know enough about it to supply my opinion. So I'm one of those people. If I see something about it, I'll read up on it and everything, but I still don't know enough to personally supply my opinion on it. So guess what I do? I say nothing and move on.
Yeah, that's not my style. So,
I no.
so I'm gonna say I will put this into a category of psyop. Like psyop or real, and I'm going with drones were a psyop. Stacy, what did you
Just
miss?
random rambling.
You missed the fact that laws are just threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group of a given nation. It's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and the police are basically an occupying force. You know what I mean? That's all you missed.
I feel like I should stand and be back over here like.
It's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
Like, I don't know if we're heading for another Red Dawn.
Oh, and the aliens are coming. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Well, the aliens are already here.
That too.
To be fair, the aliens are already here.
Yeah.
No big deal. No big deal.
No. That wasn't mentioned in the orientation of this life.
Yeah, Russ has some drone trauma as well. Kim Massey, my cousin. That's my cousin. That is like my one of my favoriteest cousins. I don't want to, not that any of them are watching, but she is actually my favorite cousin. Yes, Nicole, coffee at 9:30 at night because otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep. Oh no, Russ, it's coffee. There's coffee in here.
Okay. Yeah, there's coffee
there's also
in there.
There's also some Rebel Stoke in there, but
that's what I said. It's spicy coffee.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about the drones and overthrowing the U.S. government because they constantly run psyops on us.
Hey. Oh, okay. Great. FBI van just requested to share my internet. Thanks.
That's fine. My Wi-Fi for the longest time was definitely not the FBI. That was definitely not the FBI. Stacey, you did introduce me to and I'll be honest, 90% of the reason why I want to go to Gettysburg again is because the bottle's running low.
If you don't go, you'll just Venmo me money and tell you to pick you up one.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Well, that's if I'm like still invited or able to go.
Yeah, we'll go with able to go and not invited. So,
well, no, I will never be invited to anywhere. No one is foolish enough to actually publicly announce my coming.
And you are more than welcome to come up with me to the event in Maine in September.
Oh, I know I'm welcome in Maine because it's just a bunch of people like me that believe that laws are just threats made by the socioeconomic ethnic group of a given nation. And it's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and the police are basically an occupying army. No big deal. You know what I mean? No, but truthfully, yeah. That's all you missed. All right, moving on to the next conspiracy theory. Let's get away from government psyops that are meant to distract and bewilder the community so that they can actually continue on with their clandestine dealings.
All right, so let's jump into the private sector here.
Okay.
So what do you think about these insurance companies out there? Now, you can do your research. This is something I've actually done research on.
Yeah.
So, for no one that's heard yet, all right, couple weeks prior, month prior to Hurricane Helene hitting, Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee and causing that devastation down there.
Mm-hmm.
insurance companies, insurance companies, um, insurance companies were going through and actually canceling flood insurance on a lot of policyholders' programs that lived in that region.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, a month later, you have Hurricane Helene hit, which is one of the, if not the worst thing that had ever happened to the North Carolina, Tennessee area.
No, it's
Well, I
definitely not
mean,
good.
it's not good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, and this is the only time I'll mention it, the government hands out $750 checks. They were handing out more for COVID, but that's neither here nor there. Now, flash forward to now. Some insurance companies, if not all, for people in California, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, a lot of the Western states miraculously had their fire insurance canceled through their homeowners insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you've lived under a rock or not, but you see what's happening out in California right now.
The
Coincidence?
reckoning. The reckoning.
Coincidence? Yeah. LA's on fire, I mean, my heart goes out to everybody affected by that fire out there. I really honestly do. And I will say this, unpopular belief, get me canceled. I don't give a shit. Fuck these celebrities.
Oh yeah, dude, you're really going out on a limb on that one, let me tell you. Um, no,
Help me
here's the
rebuild.
thing. Here's the thing. And this is so I professionally am now in land development and essentially massive real estate development deals, right?
Yes, sir.
You want to know what's funny about Southern North Carolina? Like coastal Southern North Carolina?
Well, I don't know. You and I used to live down there, not in specifically that
So
area.
we were in the Triad, dude.
You were in the Triad.
Which is way inland.
Oh God, yeah, I know. But I made several trips to coastal when I was down there.
Okay, and all right, perfect. And where on the coast did you go?
Lake Norman. Went down,
Which is up by Virginia.
Yes.
Okay.
Went down to.
Probably hit up Myrtle at least once, right?
Oh, I was in Myrtle like once every 3 months because it was a 3-hour drive for me.
All right, South Myrtle or North Myrtle?
I would always stay in North Myrtle.
Well, you and everybody else that's ever gone to Myrtle Beach. Now, fun fact, about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, they finished the South Coastal North Carolina Highway project.
Yep.
Okay, which means now there is a direct beeline to Southern Myrtle and to the south coast of North Carolina, which previously was a rough drive even for people that lived in North Carolina.
Okay.
Was it 8 months? I think it was 8 months after the completion of that highway project. The coast gets fucking rocked. Absolutely rocked.
And all that work gone for nothing.
No. The roads are fine. All of the residential housing that was there previously, however, is no longer covered under the flood insurance. The previous owners are now dealing with ridiculously priced repair costs due to, a combination of economic factors, where now these folks that have no insurance are sitting on properties in this brand new thoroughfare that was just recently developed by the state government to have exceptional access for wealthy individuals. Now you have yacht brigades and you have storage facilities and golf courses and condos being built on these same properties that 2 years ago were residential.
So, do you think
Difficult to access.
I mean,
It's a gentrification process, man, and it all stems from climate prediction. Like, I don't think that there's a weather control device out there, but we have a much better idea. Nicole, no, I'm just pretty. No, I haven't done anything. No haircut, no shave. In fact, it's probably the no shave that you're noticing. But yeah, no, there's a gentrification process that's occurring through the seemingly random and coincidental weather patterns. Because immediately following this shit, you have massive land developments. Now, if you look at California, right? California has been on the verge of bankruptcy and has essentially declared bankruptcy multiple times over the past 15, 20 years. And that's because their current housing market is so grossly inflated and unsustainable that, oh, I just lost some lights. That was weird. That truthfully,
the NSA told me they were going to be doing that. They were going to shut out light by light to make sure you were paying attention.
Dude, like I'm talking about some deep state shit and my lights are turning off.
Kim, I swear, if you're listening, I did not do this.
She's not. She isn't. No, serious. But no, like truthfully, like you look at this thing, it was a completely unsustainable model. There was no way that LA, with its water shortages and everything like that, could actually sustain the population that it has for the past 30 years. That's why it's constantly going bankrupt. You know, you look at some of the decisions that have been made around water retention, water purification, and water reservoirs in LA, and it's honestly like they were wanting this to happen because they were giving up water reserves, they were emptying reservoirs.
I wish maybe you could do it on your end because I can't screen share. Maybe you could pull up that video you sent to me.
Which one?
The Mel Gibson video.
Oh yeah, Mel Gibson, the consummate anti-Semite that has been discredited for a million different things, but
exactly
calling LA out on the shit it was actively doing. Yeah, let me see it. Let me see if I can pull it up.
See if we can pull this up. But you know what? You brought up a good point in what you were saying there. The water supply and everything in California.
Yeah.
What amazes me is that just so coincidentally, a happenstance, I guess you'd say, one of that area's largest reserves was emptied for repairs.
Yeah.
A month prior to these fires happening. And what is one of the biggest things that we have heard these firefighters that are battling out in California say? We're running out of water. Like, the hydrants aren't producing as much as they need to. That's another one that we may have time to step onto, but we'll go from there. All right, Ian's got this up. So anybody listening, this is a news interview that because Mel Gibson's his mansion burned down, and he was actually doing the Joe Rogan podcast while his mansion was actively burning down. He didn't know about it, so he did a interview with what news channel is this?
I'm still trying to find it.
Okay, well, he did some sort of national news channel or something like that, and the interview was very interesting, and take it for what it is.
Was it on the Rogan? Was it on Rogan?
He was on no. He the video was not on Rogan, but he was doing the Joe Rogan podcast when his mansion caught on fire.
This was back in January. I mean, this was early
back
January.
In January. It is January.
It was January of this year, but it was back before shit got super wild.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, can I send you a message with the TikTok in it or the video in it, and you can share it that way? Or
yeah, that'll probably work. How did I send it to you in the first place?
Dude, you sent it to me on Messenger, which led me down that whole conspiracy theory. Actually, I'll send two videos to you to share. Actually, I sent this one to you before. One's from Joe Rogan. I'm going to send it to you again. It's weird sending it to you the same message. All right,
Okay,
so I got 2 here for you. Just, you know what? Anybody, please don't look at the conversation between Ian and I. Don't screenshot it. Don't do anything like that.
No, fuck it. They can. I don't give a shit.
Screenshots for days.
Yeah, fucking right, dude. I'm not ashamed of anything I say. Here we go.
Well, we got volume.
Letting reserves go.
Yeah, let's see what the next one is.
Well, I know they were messing with the water. Letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, oh, is it on purpose? Which it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be? I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
So,
Now,
I mean, that's...
Take it for what you will, coming from Mel Gibson. I mean, I know everybody has...
Dude made mistakes. They got him on a shit-faced rant. Like, honestly, dude, you've been around me drinking. Everyone's been around me drinking. And I've let my mind wander to fucking terrible places. Like, he has apologized for those things. It's pretty clear that it was a core tenement belief of his. Dude's fucked up and he said some stupid shit. He's apologized for it. He's moved on. And but he's also a resident, right? Like that's where he fucking lives, right? Like that's not...
Show that Joe Rogan video that I sent you, and everyone that is watching this, I want you, and if you're just listening to it and can't see the video, I want you to pay attention to the dates that Joe Rogan says in this interview.
Well, I think it's important to note, too, this was July of last year.
Yes, July 19th, 2024. And there is a video of January 7th, 2025 playing right now.
Okay. Am I clear to play?
Go for it.
To a fireman once. This is one of the reasons that freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean. And there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do.
Now, that was coming from a firefighter from last year.
Well, that was coming from Joe Rogan, who said it was coming from a firefighter.
Well, I mean, I trust Joe Rogan a little bit more than some people out there telling me everything's going to be okay. Dr. Fauci.
You and I are going to fight on that one. Look, when you are dealing with the American public, which is arguably one of the most intelligent, undereducated populaces in the world, you do what you can. You try to mitigate risk.
True. You know,
we want to talk about people that have attempted to do the right thing the wrong way. Yeah. Good old Fauci is on that list. But
now, do you see another lockdown coming? Because you have all these people murmuring. Because of course we have this new virus coming out of China.
Oh, the new bird flu?
Yes.
It's funny
good friend of me, Jeremy Cotter. He works in a hospital.
Good friend of me. Of yours. Friend of mine.
Of mine, of yours, of everybody out there. If anybody's ever met Jeremy, he is
I like Gene.
You like Gene more than Jeremy?
The hot shit. Jeremy knows how to get me to break character and fucking be real for a minute and just die laughing.
That's fair. But Jeremy has told me he works in a hospital in the dietary department.
Yep.
And he told me at what was it? Either last Thursday or Friday, the hospital now is back to all employees and patients mandatory mask. Well, but again, you have pneumonia, bronchitis, RSV. You have a lot of different diseases going around out there. And he told me his hospital's at max capacity right now. But you do see the outbreak right now of, he said even MMR is starting to make a big thing right now.
I mean, you figure right now, Kim and I, she was on a show at 7:00. I'm on a show at 9, and we're just trading hands with a kid that is like actively like
sick.
Fevered. Yeah, he's got a flu. And
now, is it not norovirus?
No, it's not the norovirus. Oh, okay. God. No, so a fun story about the norovirus, not for another time. We're on a conspiracy show, not one where I explain how I almost killed 80% of my family. No, for real. So, Russ, the night my dad died, right?
Yes, sir.
Kim, I brought her to the hospital.
I remember that. Our
son had norovirus, and he limped his way through, and he was a trooper. And then Kim got it, and it fucked her up something terrible.
Mm-hmm. She was down there for a while.
Yeah, so we brought her up to the hospital. She was in the hospital for 3 days. So I brought her up to the hospital. That night, the old man dies. Now, on my way home, I get hit with the norovirus, and I keep my body such a hostile environment that shit tends to just flow off me. And so I pull out of the hospital and I'm like, don't feel so good. Open the car door, puke, get another 15 yards up. Now Benny's in the back seat in the car seat. Get another 15 yards up, puke again. And that's it. That's all I have for the norovirus. Not realizing I'm a carrier. And so if anybody's had somebody pass in their family, you know how much contact you have with fucking everyone in your family.
Thanks for telling me now, buddy.
What's that?
Thanks for telling me now. I was right there with you, giving you hugs and everything the day after.
I didn't know. I was like, I just got sick a couple times. That's definitely not the norovirus, because norovirus has you going out both ends, and it's fucking horrible. And so I was like, I dodged a bullet. I just got a little bit sick. Well, so I was around all of our family for the next 8 days, and just spread it to everyone. My little sister was hospitalized. My little brother was hospitalized. Their grandmother was hospitalized. Their grandfather was hospitalized. Their mother was sick. Like, everybody got wiped out by this thing. Yeah, it was fucking wild. But no, not the norovirus, just the flu.
But you know what? I'm just like you. I treat my body like a very hostile battleground. So normally, things just kind of don't affect me as much, because a virus enters my body and they're like, nah, screw this, I'm out.
You know Greek mythology at all?
A little bit.
Okay, so you may or may not know this reference, but I treat my body like a temple.
Yep.
And I'm Achilles. So for those of you who don't know, Achilles cut off the head of the goddess at the foot of the temple, and then took all of the priestesses as slaves for his men, as it were. So I treat my body like a temple. It's just that I'm Achilles. So
just taking hostages left and right, huh?
No, just desecrating it every chance I get.
No, so getting back, we have a couple of minutes left or whatever, but I mean, getting back to it. Yeah. Do you see that there is another mask mandate coming, or another lockdown coming?
I think it would actually. I think it is coming, because January 6th we're going to have a change of presidency.
We're already gone and done past January 6th.
Well, January 6th we had a change of presidency, right?
Yes.
And then in February, we're going to have the full inauguration and everything like that. Like everything's going to be official and everything's going to be set, and we're going to have this whole new democracy. The only problem is I think that the current administration, right, the incoming administration, doesn't have the opposition they had before. And I'm not naming names, not because I don't want to give credence to the fact that they won or anything like that, but because I don't think it really matters who's in office right now.
No, it doesn't.
The presidential office now needs an adversary. Otherwise, it doesn't get the circus, and the circus gets the votes. The votes get the support, and so we need.
Yeah, but don't we have that in Ukraine and Russia right now with Putin and all that going on? And
no, because here's the deal: when China, America, and Russia actually go to blows, it's this domino effect that people don't understand how tightly knit the world economy has become, right? All America has to do to destroy China is default on its debt.
True.
That's it. All we have to do is default on our debt. China becomes quite literally a wasteland whose currency is so far beyond worthless that wiping your ass with their currency would actually be an upgrade from its actual worth. China owns so much U.S. debt that they can never let the U.S. fail.
No.
Now, Russia can't let the U.S. fail because their entire autocratic system revolves around rallying the ultra elite and the brainwashed into being anti-America. So if America fails, then Russia has to actually look at Russia and say, why isn't Russia winning without America? America's the reason Russia's not winning. So Russia loses their big bad on their homeland economy and their homeland morale. So they lose everything. Russia and China need America to be America in perpetuity, because not only is it their biggest asset, but it's also their biggest villain. There's no way that that's really going to allow it to collapse, right? And so there has to be an actual villain for the Oval Office to actually fight against, right?
Yes.
And what was the current administration's last major opponent? You mentioned him earlier. Fauci. And so I absolutely think there's going to be a concerted effort to push RFK, the man with the fucking brainworm, who is going to now be in charge of the health department, to have a mandate or to have some kind of overreach of that department's authority so that the executive branch can actually push against it. So yeah, I do think there's going to be a mandate. I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think it's going to be a political opera. I think it's just going to be a play. I don't think it's going to be real.
Now here's the difference. You said there's going to be a mandate. So yeah, I asked two questions. Do you think there's going to be a mandate on you have to wear a mask 6 feet apart again? Or do you think there's going to be a complete and utter lockdown like we had where everything shuts down again?
I think it's going to be really, really hard to pull the lockdown again, because even the people that supported it last time
are like, I'm not going through that shit again.
No, it's not even that. It's that it wasn't effective, right? Like herd immunity eventually ended up winning on COVID. That's what ended up happening. Like for as much as we got the vaccines, for as much as we attempted to actually mitigate from a medical perspective, the reality is the effectiveness of the vaccines that came out were incredibly low. That's been scientifically proven. That there's data about it. I'm not anti-vax. I got the vax. I got the booster, the whole nine. But it proved that it wasn't nearly as effective as we had hoped or claimed it would be, right? And so the fact of the matter is, at the aftermath of COVID, herd immunity won.
Yes.
And so I think that there's a major contingency, not to mention the fact that essential workers, if you weren't a nurse or a teacher or EMS, no one was praising you as an essential worker.
Nope.
Okay. Because I was in banking. I was in investment banking, not like, hey, I need to get money out of my paycheck banking. I was in, I need to quadruple my wealth banking. And I was
Yes.
considered an essential worker. So the oligarchy
fact with
hard
that
at
one.
work to make sure that their investment advisors and their investment managers were essential. We were okay to go in there and be compromised. I will never fucking forget this in my life. And I'll tell you this. You had an episode of your show about bullshit you've dealt with in retail.
Yes, sir.
And this is actually a story for that. I sat down with two doctors, honest to God, fucking doctors,
Degrees and all.
practices, laid out their financial plan for their retirement and everything like that,
Yep.
with the conversation that we're going to follow up in 48 hours to see what they think, what their takeaways are, how they feel about what I proposed, and everything like that. So I call them after 2 days, no word. 6 days, no word. 8 days, no word. On day 10, they call me back. Want to know why they weren't calling me back? Why they weren't talking to me? Later that day, on the day that I met them,
Yes.
and they sat in my office for 2.5 hours, they tested positive for COVID.
Oh, wonderful.
Never once reached out to me. Never once said, hey, I was in your office earlier that day. We were positive and contagious.
You might want to get tested. Not even a common courtesy.
I called them 5 times over the course of 10 days. They never answered me there, but I was essential. I was
You
essential.
were essential.
You
Now,
know what essential means in the economy?
what's that?
It's essential employees in this economy are just essentially replaceable.
They're expendable.
That's it. That's all it is.
Now, fun fact about that, no secret, everybody out there knows I work for Spirit Halloween. Spirit Halloween's parent company is Spencer's LLC.
Well, are they? Anymore? Didn't Spencer's just shut down everything?
No, not that I know of. I haven't heard a word they shut down anything yet.
Every single Spencer's in Massachusetts is gone.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I believe the one down at Kingston Collection's still open, and the one in Braintree.
Nope, neither. I've been to
Really?
both of those locations and neither of them are open.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, Spencer's is gone, my man.
So during the pandemic, of course, retail stores were only open for essential supplies. Your grocery stores, your pharmacies, your banks, your things like that. Those were the ones that were open.
Yeah.
Spencer's got away with being open under a loophole.
How? Oh, Holyoke might still be open.
Nope, Holyoke's out. So they got away with being open because, as you know,
Is it the dildos?
the further you travel into the back of a Spencer's, it becomes a little bit darker.
Hold on, is it really because of the intimacy products? I was only joking about the dildos.
They considered it women's health.
Wow.
Spencer's was
genius.
Spencer's and every other adult store out there were able to be open because it was considered for men and women's health.
They're not technically wrong.
That's how they got away with it. No, Nicole, I wish I was kidding. I am definitely not. I swear to you, dildo saved the day.
Holy shit, dude.
They were able to be open still because they were actually supplying quote unquote health products for women and men.
That's fucking nuts. All right, are we going to talk about Big Pharma?
We could talk about Big Pharma. We're at hour 5. We got no one coming up with us until Greg Bakken. We got Greg Bakken at 11:05 Eastern Standard Time.
Is he actually coming in tonight?
I'm not sure if he's doing a pre-record or if he's doing a live.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be here anyways. We can continue to talk a little bit. You want to talk about Big Pharma a bit?
I mean, we could talk about how the entire U.S. political system is engineered to make sure that people get sick, stay sick, and get treated for sickness instead of getting fixed.
You cure a disease, you lost a patient.
Exactly. I mean, it really just honestly goes back to the fact that laws are just threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group of a given nation, and it's a promise of violence enacted, and the police are basically an occupying army. You know what I mean? Hey, Aaron, how are you?
You made me get the moonshine on that one. All right, let's go into the Big Pharma. Yes, I agree. They don't give you a full diagnosis because they want to keep treating things that aren't there to be treated, just to keep pumping pills into you and keep getting you to spend your copays and your money and things like that, until eventually at some point you find a doctor that actually has morals and is like, no, this is what's wrong with you.
So anybody on the South Shore, Massachusetts, I encourage you to check out Action Medicine over in Weymouth. They're not a holistic doctor. They are actually a private practicing doctor who broke away from that format and was ousted from the practice that they were in because they had known that there were actual legitimate medicines that could one and done resolve some problems. And instead of doing pain management and mitigation, they actually went for the throat and tried to actually, fix the fucking problem. And so now they actually have their own practice. They do not accept insurance. Their prices are actually incredibly reasonable. Way cheaper than a PCP. I don't know why I haven't mentioned them to you earlier. I feel like
you probably should have, because now I'm sitting there thinking, because the PCP can't see me till March.
Yeah, no, they all they do is walk-ins, dude. Like, they are like, and they're not this holistic hippie bullshit. Like, because when I was talking to them, when I initially met them, I was like, look, I'm not gonna fucking rub essential oils on my shoulder and pray to God the pain goes away, because that's just not, like, I can't do that. Like, if it worked, I think I would die on that hill and just not, because I'm an idiot. But no, like, they are legit fucking doctors with legit solutions to problems. And yeah, they're phenomenal. But anyway, I digress.
There are, my mother used to work as a pharmacy tech for a large hospital in the Triad.
Greg will not be on tonight.
Oh, Greg will not be on tonight. All right, so we got a little bit.
Have it tomorrow.
Yeah, well. And there were actually pharmacy reps that would come in and talk to these doctors, and my mom has overheard it multiple times and actually told me about it, that these pharmacy companies were giving doctors boosts and giving them payouts if they prescribed a specific pill to somebody.
And at a certain rate. So you had to have a certain saturation point in order to qualify for the bonuses.
But you know what? These pharma companies were like a restaurant, and the fish was about to go bad in a day. So they're like, all right, everybody, push the fish.
No, that's exactly true. And there was actually a case. I can't remember the case file on it. There was a case out of, I want to say it was Indiana, where the patent on a particular medication was actually running out. And so the pharma reps came in and pushed it so hard that they were able to actually empty the reserves of this particular drug, which was supposed to be an antipsychotic and antidepressant, to the point where, like, that you couldn't get it anymore.
Wow.
Because all of the reserves at that pricing before the generic was able to be created had already been issued.
See, it like that's like you know me. You've known me for 9 years now, 10, almost a decade now.
Shit, has it really been that long?
Yes, sir. Um,
Phew, what a
you
wasted
know,
decade.
I know, right? I'm sorry,
Oh
but
no, I mean you're not the only reason I wasted it.
yeah, well, but we both kind of wasted it. But I mean, you know, it's one of those things where
Oh,
I
you want
hate
me
the
to
doctor.
you want me
I
to really
absolutely.
cook your noodle?
Oh God, Ian's over
So
here doing research in the background.
no, I'm actually playing 2048. Um, I don't know if you know that it's like a slide puzzle game.
Nope.
It's awesome for us ADHDers because it's just like there's a very tactile wonderfulness to it. But it is illegal to bribe a member of the U.S. government. Correct?
So says the law, but
Oh no. We're only talking rules as written. The rules as written, it's illegal to bribe a member of the U.S. government. Correct?
correct.
Okay. Did you know that a decision earlier this year decided it was not illegal for you to provide money to a member of the US government for an action as long as the action occurred before you offered them the money? I want you to digest that statement.
Okay, so it's pretty much saying that in a made up scenario in my head, I guess you could say, you have these farmer reps coming in and sitting down with Congress, going, "Hey, if you do this, we'll make sure you're taken care of." And they'll put it in, they'll do it, they'll pass it, sign it into law, do whatever they need to do, and then they get the kickback on it at the end because it
And
was
it's
done prior
not
to them
legal,
offering money.
and it's not legally a bribe.
It's not, because they're paying you for a job well done, or here's more money for your campaign contribution, or
Because you decided of your own free will to make that decision without our influence.
Yep.
But we told you that we wanted it beforehand.
But it was up to you on what you did with that information.
Correct. And that is not technically a bribe in the American government system.
So
Now,
technically doing something on your own moral compass, even though you were, let's use the word coerced into doing something, because I know how those meetings probably would have gone, being like, "Hey, if you do this,
to be
we're going
fair,
to
I know
take
you
care of
didn't
you."
intend. I know you didn't intend to misspeak there, but I pray to God every day that a lot of these people get coerced, as in they have to share a hearse.
I did misspeak. I'm sorry.
But you actually said a word that we should start using when describing these people, which is coerced. You know, if I got to share a waiting room, they can share a hearse. You know, Viva Luigi.
We'll get to that one too.
That wasn't a conspiracy. That was, well, how they caught him was. But
a McDonald's worker in Altoona, PA.
Which, you know,
I've been to Altoona. I have family in Altoona. There ain't shit there. They're lucky to have a McDonald's.
I have never heard of a moment of instant karma quite like the person who turned Luigi in not getting the reward.
Oh yeah, that for anybody out there that doesn't know about it, is they offer, I think it was a $50,000 reward or something like that. That was leading.
No, it was like 100 and it was like 150.
Okay, that was leading to the
CEO died.
To the arrest.
It wasn't a peasant. A peasant hadn't been killed.
But
they offered
leading to
one.
information as to the arrest of Luigi
Mm-hmm.
into the murder of said CEO, unlifing of the said CEO.
Assassination of a corrupt, horrific, oligarchical, tyrannical dictator of healthcare systems. Yep.
I knew Ian would kind of smooth out the icing on that one.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, laws are just threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in a given nation, and it's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and the police are basically an occupying army. You know what I mean? No big deal. I am curious if we do a count how many times I get to say that tonight.
You're on 5 right now.
Am I really? I feel like I was on 6, but that could be.
No, you're on 5. But you should type that in as a ticker and just keep that constantly running across the bottom of the screen. No, but God, I lost my train of thought now. No, so they had the cash reward out for any credible information leading to the arrest of Luigi, or the so-called suspect at that point, because he didn't become this sex symbol until after he was arrested and everything like that.
Until we all found out how fucking hot he was.
Hey, I'm not I'm completely straight, but Luigi's got it going on over there a little bit.
He really does. I got to give him credit.
I mean, but so I don't remember what the details behind it was, but this McDonald's worker turned in Luigi, called the tip line, whatever it was. They arrested him. They got confession or whatever it may be from him. And then the worker was just like, okay, what about my reward? And they're like, oh, no, sorry. You're not. It's just going to become a drinking game now. Like,
it was supposed to scroll. I don't know why it's not scrolling. Oh, because I didn't.
Maybe it's too long. You hit the character count. There we go.
There we are.
Yeah, I don't know if you know any more about like that, because I didn't really read up on it. What were the excuses given behind the worker not getting the reward?
Oh, so she called the local police, she called 911, not the tip line. So she gave all the information to the local police.
So it made the local police look like the freaking heroes instead of these people that were out there manhunting him.
Yep.
So they got egg on their face and they decided to be petty about it and be like, well, since you didn't call the right number.
Oh, no. It's what ended up happening was the exact reason Luigi's exist got enacted quite virulently on this young woman. You have those in power which abuse their power and make promises of false compensation and false recompense. And and so she fell victim to the lies in which Luigi strove to, pew pew.
Pew pew. So I was there and I just started pew pewing.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is hilarious is that block is now like a tourist attraction. Where it actually occurred outside of the hotel.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of almost
is now dealing with a lot of tourists coming in and reenacting that moment and that morning in front of the establishment.
They're creating this almost like a Lenin memorial.
Yeah. I mean, I would say more of like a
Abbey Row.
I'm trying to think of an adequate analog because we so often compare people to Hitler. I feel like we don't really use the analogy enough.
Careful tiptoeing the line here.
Well, I'm just saying my favorite passage from the Judeo-Christian Bible is when Jesus goes into the marketplace and lays waste to all the money changers and merchants who are just profiteering on the faith and death of others. But who am I to say except an ordained minister?
Yeah, me too. I mean, what am I to know? And yet, yes, Kim, yes, the fine print in the agreement. And yes, Susan, also, I hope that worker at least got a free lunch out of it.
No, they didn't. They got fired. Yeah, no, they didn't get a free lunch. They got fired.
Why? For using their cell phone on company time?
Actually, yes. So there was such a public outcry.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh, so there was such a public outcry about this person. And again, please corroborate my stories or discredit them and let me know. I hold no emotional attachment to the stories that I am speaking. So if I'm incorrect, please feel free to correct me. But it is my understanding that she was in fact terminated from McDonald's. And the reasoning and rationale was she had used her cell phone. And in those circumstances, company policy is
violation of company policy of using your cell phone on company time.
Oh, you are supposed to use the company phone when calling in a non-emergency issue, right?
Non-emergency issue. If you have at one point, one of America's most wanted fugitives,
who is clearly no threat to a McDonald's worker.
Clearly not. He just wanted his Mac on.
Which is wild to me that the amount. So they found his backpack on him with his manifesto, right?
Yes. And the fact that he took the time.
Backpack? Hold on. But didn't they find the backpack in New York?
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was the thing. They found his backpack. But then magically they found it on him as well.
Oh, funny how that works.
Now, one of the wildest little tidbits of information, which was a massive breach of client information, is the fact that the manufacturer of the backpack that he was wearing, because he was an avid hiker, he had an actual quality backpack.
Yep, which are not cheap.
Nope. And come with serial numbers. And so when they found his backpack in New York, the owner of said company said, "Oh, we keep serial numbers.
We track serial numbers by purchase." And
so the CEO of the company who manufactured his backpack actually gave them his name and his home address.
And you think it's bad when places like TurboTax and everything share your information with third parties?
Right. Like this backpack company was turning him in. Now, don't get me wrong. As a CEO of a major conglomerate, I would imagine the idea of this man running around free all willy-nilly must be fucking terrifying.
Especially for CEOs. Yes, you're correct.
Not for all CEOs, because we have the CEO of Costco who's going to die a fucking legend. Who, do you know this story about the hot dog?
No.
So the CEO of Costco was presented with their budget for the following year, and this happened at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year. I can't remember which. Was told that they could remedy a lot of their problems by increasing the cost of the hot dog and soda meal from $1.50.
Yeah.
To which the CEO of Costco said, "I will fucking kill you if you mention that again." Not "you're fired," not "don't bring that up again." In a board meeting that is on record in public file,
"I will fucking kill you."
CEO said, "I will fucking kill you if you bring that up again.
Don't fuck with my wieners."
He went on to continue to say how many people rely on that $1.50 meal.
Oh, yeah. You go shopping at Costco, you get yourself a dog and a soda.
Dude, when I was living in North Carolina, when I was down in Winston-Salem, I was working at Circuit City, and the Costco was behind us.
Hey, you go right next door and get yourself some lunch.
I had the hot dog and soda meal at $1.50 back in 2003 through 2007. Almost every day. And if I had a couple of extra bucks, I paid $2.25 for the slice of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And the soda. And to hear that guy in 2024 say, I will fucking, I'm 2025 now, but in 2024, for him to say, I will fucking kill you if you bring that up again.
Now, shout out to the real winner out here. Got to give it to our guys over at Arizona Iced Tea.
Oh, and do you hear his interview after this whole thing?
No. I did not, but I'm just saying, like, for as long as I can remember, Arizona Iced Tea's always been 99 cents, and he says he will not ever raise that price.
Did you hear his most recent interview?
Nope.
Where they asked him for his explanation of that? He said, we own everything. We own our brand. We own our manufacturing. We own our distribution. We own our production. How much money do we really have to make? And that was his take. We got so far off the conspiracy theories, bud.
Well, that's not really okay. You want to end on a fun one.
I want to end on one that doesn't make me say laws are just threats by the dominant socioeconomic group in a given nation. It's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and the police are just basically an occupying army. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we'll end this one on a. It's. I don't know if you would say it was a high note, but it's definitely a slippery slope.
Okay.
It's very touchy-feely, touch and go. There's a lot of people that feel different ways about this whole situation.
Gender is just a fluid concept expressed through dominant socioeconomic belief systems, and the fact that most of all feminine products were initially created for men, and the application of which have just been an expression of masculinity traditionally, and now we've reversed those gender roles, and now creating a situation where people feel disenfranchised by their own sexuality.
And now we have a new ticker.
Except that's not a quote. That was just me talking.
Okay. So I'm going to hit you with this one.
Okay, shoot.
Diddy's List.
Oh. So, goodbye J-Lo. Goodbye Jay-Z. They're out. Fitty is good. Fitty's Fitty. Fitty's Fitty. He's set. Like, old boy ain't on that list. It is kind of funny that although Diddy's house did not burn,
no,
many of his co-conspirators are actively on fire.
And they haven't really released that list yet. They've just released names like here and there, right?
Dude, they haven't even fucking released the Epstein list. Why would they release the Diddy list? Like, yes, the documents about Epstein's Island have been released more or less, but the truth is it's still this like giant redacted situation.
Yeah.
Proof even more that the oligarchy just continues to manipulate the public.
That would be one of those files you get that is confidential.
No, that's
that
one of those
has the black markings and it's like a word here and there.
That's a file you get right before you experience that scene from The Matrix where Morpheus leads Neo out of the fucking office building. Like, they're all on it, dude.
Okay, so
we live in such a deplorable nation full of fucking moral decrepitude that is just...
What is your take on what they found at Diddy's mansion?
I have always been curious how Johnson & Johnson has stayed afloat. And what they found at Diddy's estate, 1,000 bottles
of baby oil.
1,000 bottles of baby oil. Pallets of baby oil.
Who has ever gone through one bottle of baby oil in their fucking life? I've gone through one when I had kids and I was oiling them up after bath times and stuff like that. But
Well,
as an
all right, so you
adult,
got to understand.
as an adult,
as an adult, you have to understand too that for a while, baby oil was the most palatable lubricant.
yeah. It normally starts with
Things
the back
have
rub and ends
things
in.
have changed a little bit, and there are some more amiable, we'll call it,
Yes.
lubricants to choose from.
More feasible, more
More adaptable.
yeah, but we'll go with that, adaptable.
Multiple applications, right?
Yes, it is a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, but baby oil is not. Baby oil causes acne breakouts and
Yes,
all sorts of other things. So,
but not even including the baby oil, but the sex toys.
yeah, there's a deep part of me that's like, hey, if you have over 600 sex toys, you should probably be on a list.
I mean, dude's over here running his mansion like the Red Room
Hey.
out of 50 Shades of Grey.
Hey, I'll tell you this. If it was consensual, dude did nothing wrong. Not a goddamn thing wrong.
Correct.
He let people express
What they wanted.
Look, say what you will, Smith. But if old boy ain't as rigid as everyone thought he was, and did he gave him that ability to express, good on him. If there was any non-consensual shit, may you rot in hell forever.
Now I will include non-consensual.
I'll tell you, but I do think it's all right. So I'm gonna say this, and I've said some potentially controversial things tonight. Something along the lines of laws or threats made by a dominant socioeconomic group given in a given nation, and the promise of violence is enacted, and the police are basically an occupying army. I've said some things, right? But I'll say this. I find it really weird that rebounding off of a child sex trafficking conspiracy being exposed.
Are we talking Wayfair?
Epstein.
Okay.
That not immediate, because it's been like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah,
gap,
something like that.
like a little bit of a beat. Now we got a black guy having this massive sex conspiracy pop out with nothing but adults.
Now, how much of in your opinion, how much of Hollywood elite are we going to be seeing disappear from scenes?
Look, here's what I can say.
You're not under oath, don't worry.
Come on, if 25-year-old me had the Hollywood experience, I'd be a fucking degenerate. I know I would. I can admit that about me. If I had that unlimited power, unlimited access, and everything like that at 25 years old, I'd be a fucking degenerate. Now, would I be on the pedo side? Fuck no. But would I go out and experience everything that they threw at me? Probably, yeah, because at 25 years old, I wouldn't have fucking known better, and I would have gone down that whole Charlie Sheen road, fucking tiger blood. I only got one speed.
Yep.
Oh, right?
Winning.
Yeah. And so I think just the nature of that environment is going to be corrupt. The constant ego feeding, the constant self-gratification, you are going to naturally turn into the swerve on that. Now, do I think you're going to go as evil as Epstein Island? No, I don't think that that's necessarily true. You look at like RDJ, right? Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
That dude went down the rabbit hole.
Way
Drugs,
down the rabbit hole.
promiscuity, everything like that. But he was able to rebound. He ended up growing up a little bit, finding himself, finding center, finding sobriety, and
now
found his
has a
way out.
very successful career.
Yeah. Weird how we only have models of that for a particular ethnicity of actors. Right? You look at Jonathan Majors, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors went through the same shit Johnny Depp did. He was accused of a bunch of stuff. Everything got pushed off. Everything got acquitted. Turns out it wasn't what it initially seemed. He lost his shit. He lost all of his deals. He lost all of his contracts. Except Jonathan Majors isn't Johnny Depp level, right? And he's a little bit different, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Disney's not knocking on his door to fucking reboot the series that he started. But meanwhile, they're chasing Johnny Depp to get that Pirates of the Caribbean 14.
Yep.
So I think it's really weird how you had all of these
standards for
you
certain
had a
people.
specific ethnicity get really crushed by a list that never got fully published, right? It got redacted, it got published, but it was redacted.
Yeah.
And now you got Diddy's list that everybody's talking about. No one's talking about the fact that Epstein managed to fucking we moved on as a society. Nobody's still talking about the fact that Epstein was able to kill himself on suicide watch in a closed cell with a pillowcase.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't allowed sheets. When you're on suicide watch, you're not allowed anything over 3 feet, which is something that people don't really realize. When you're in jail and you're on suicide watch, you're not allowed any cloth of fabric over 3 feet. So 3 by 3 is the largest you're allowed. So you can have 2 blankets, 3 by 3s. So how'd Jeff, right?
I mean,
Anyway.
there's several theories out there swirling around that one. All right, so we're at hour 40 with the show. I'm getting ready to wrap up. So give everybody out there a little idea of maybe a conspiracy theory or something that you've heard of recently within the last month or two to keep an eye out for.
Why don't you go first?
All right, I'll say this. Mine has to deal with sports.
Okay.
So have you heard the theory behind the Super Bowl logo?
Yes, I have.
The color scheme of the Super Bowl logo
who's going to actually be in it?
Normally tells you the colors of the teams that are going to play in it. Yep. So they release the Super Bowl logo far before they know who's going to be.
Oh yeah, like 3 months beforehand. Yep.
In the Super Bowl. So, it's one of those things that it just kind of and it 9 times out of 10 comes out to be right. And I think this year's colors are like red and blue or something like that, or something like that, which means the 2 teams that are making a run for it this year, Kansas City and Detroit.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if they let Detroit go, but it's been a while.
You have the Bills or Detroit, because Baltimore's colors are purple.
Bills are more known for their blue. That's all I'll say. Bills are known for their Bulls. The Buffalo Bills are more known for their blue than the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are more the silver gray.
Yeah.
All right. So mine, because I gave myself final word.
The floor is yours, Jerry.
Jerry. All right.
Well, Springer's the final word.
There's going to be an event in the next 3 months, which is going to pit yourself against your neighbor. Be mindful that American media does not want you to use your own mind. That's all I have.
We'll elaborate on that a little bit more when we get off air because I'm naturally curious now.
That's fair. That's
but-
fair. But understand that in the next 90 days, you're going to be confronted by an issue that's going to entirely rely on you allowing an outside source to think for you.
Okay.
And as I always say, stay blessed and I love you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out and listening. We went a little bit longer than we normally do tonight, but we kind of got on a roll with a couple things. Quite the different show than what we that I normally do over here. But it was
different than
fun.
I normally do as well.
It was fun to just sit there and bounce ideas and, things like that off of. And as I said at the beginning of the show, the views and opinions that Ian and I expressed are just that.
Hyper specifically, the ones that I express are only my own.
Yes, please. Yes, please. We'll leave it at that one.
And on that note, like I said, stay blessed.
Thank you again, Ian, for coming out. Everybody, again, can't do this without you. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming out and listening all the time. I know tonight was kind of a little, don't know which direction it was going to go, but we managed. We got through, and we're here. So next week, I do have a guest. However, I cannot release said guest name yet. I am working on a graphic right now for them, but you will not want to miss this. And I will say this. If you are a Stephen King fan, you will not want to miss next week's episode. So again, everybody out there, thank you so much, so much for coming out and listening. You guys are the heart and soul of this show, and you guys keep the show running. You guys keep me coming back every Monday to do it. So with that being said, guys, until next week, we will see you then.